Hello. Are we alive? Okay, can we see me? Can we hear me? Okay, great. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Oh, this is so strange. I can't really see anything except what I'm doing. It feels like I'm just talking to my computer right now. But great. Okay, well, this is just something that I've been messing around with since, well, I guess I should probably just say, hey, welcome. My name is Wilson. I make electronic music. Most of the time, I'm just making weird noises and hoping it sticks. It's a pretty good life, honestly. I really enjoy what I do. I wanted to, I was super thankful that Jacques reached out to me to get this going with ASUW A+E. I'm super thankful to be here. I love A&E. They've done so much cool stuff in the past, and I'm just really excited to be a part of this. And I guess I'm going to make some freaking tunes for you guys. I'm going to really quickly close my door just in case my roommates are loud. And hopefully you can't hear too much of my fan noise. My computer is really not excited at all the things that are running. But yeah. Heck yeah. Okay, cool. Sabrina, Ibrahima, Eriku. I don't know how you say your name. Eriku? Stoked you guys are here. Sick. Let's get going. This is just some random noise that I made. Let's see if you guys can hear it. This is, I guess, the first test. Let's see if you guys can hear that. Woohoo. Eriku and Heard. A+. Oh, brilliant. Okay, cool. So this is not particularly good, honestly. I think that let's probably just go ahead and, start something new. But this is what I was just kind of messing around with while in the interim time. I want to start with a couple of things. Please, if you want to follow along, you can head to I'm going to put it in the chat. It's wltv.info. Wait, there's a better link. wltv.info/teach, I believe. It's also in the description of this video. And there's a bunch of resources there if you guys want to follow along. I know that it will probably take more time for you to download and install and all that jazz, but then it's really worth. But there's just some resources there about making electronic music. And yeah, it's really strange talking to a computer and not hearing really anything. So, but yeah, and also, yeah, I know that there's a bit of a delay going on, so it's going to take me a little while to get feedback when I'm asking questions, but we're just going to roll with it. This is the first time I've ever really done anything like this, and I'm really excited about it. So let's start with the exhilaration of a brand new empty project. Let's see what happens. New. Don't save. Delete files. Kill everything. I was messing around yesterday, and I was kind of realizing this tendency that producers have to kind of feel like, or at least that I have, to feel like every time I open up a new project, I've forgotten almost everything I know about production. And it's kind of fun in a way, making something just kind of for the sake of, I guess something that I've had to learn myself recently is just making something for the sake of it being fun, and then hopefully it turns into something later. Yeah, sorry, don't really know. I'm kind of rambling, but I wanted to make sure that you guys know that you can ask questions at any time. Some homies over at ASUW A+E are watching over the chat, and they will be texting me if I am ignoring you guys, and those notifications will come up on my computer. Hopefully you don't see them, because I don't want you to see all of my texts, but if you do, whatever. I guess the government's spying on us. Anyway, we're on YouTube. YouTube's owned by Google. Google is... whatever. That was political and weird. I start almost every project with 2 tracks, or rather 2 groups of tracks. This is kind of the drum group, and then this is the everything else group. And this is kind of just how I arrange. I'm seeing I'm back up. Are you guys back in? Can you hear me? I'm seeing I have excellent connection on my end, is what it says. Oh, yeah, we're back. That's awesome. I think I popped out the chat, so I should be able to. Maybe part of the reason. Okay, yeah, let's see if that works. Cool. Oh, yeah, we're back. We're back. We're back. Yay, we're back. Okay, cool. So where was I? I was talking about how I basically have everything set up into 2 groups, the drum group and then the everything else group. And the reason I do this is because one of the key aspects of electronic music is something called sidechain compression, or ducking. And what that basically is when drums are happening, everything else needs to get quiet. So let's demonstrate this really quickly. I'm just going to create a little, one of the synths I use all the time is called Wavetable, and it's basically Serum but made in Ableton. And the reason I use it over Serum is because it's less CPU intensive, and I don't really need most of the Serum stuff. So when you click this little button right here, so if I click this without the little headphones on, it doesn't make any noise, but I like to turn it on so I can hear what I'm hearing. Shift and down arrow will drop this a whole octave, or up arrow, pull up, hold down. A lot of electronic music is, or at least like bass design, is going to be down in like the D area. Cool. All right. It seems like everything's working more or less. I'm still seeing chat flowing in, so that is good news. Let's demonstrate this. Without further ado, let's grab a kick drum. Kick. One thing that's kind of annoying about Ableton is that like it shows all these samples first, and then all of your stuff that's in your like dedicated libraries that you choose later, which is fine. But I like my stuff better than Ableton stuff. So shout out Cymatics for 1,000 free samples that I got a million years ago. I don't even remember them. Oh god, I'm gonna take too much time picking a sample just because I can't. These are all bad. Honestly, okay, I'm taking too long. We're just gonna duplicate this out a couple times. By the way, that's Command D, so whatever you select, if you Command D, it will just duplicate into that space. It will go over stuff, but one thing that's kind of weird is like if you have a bunch of stuff here and then you duplicate that in, it will preserve the other elements, even if there's like empty space, which good or bad depending on how you're looking at it. But yeah, so we have this happening, and I don't know if you guys can notice here. Let's actually make this double the density. It kind of gets a little crowded at times. What we want to do is open up some space. So, Ableton volume is a bit loud versus voice volume. Okay, let's alter that by dropping this down 60 dB. Hopefully that's better. But yeah, we want to open up some of this space. So what we're going to do is I have this track called trig, which basically just stands for trigger. And all I'm going to do is put a point, a little like MIDI note basically, at the location of every one of these kick drums. And since I made this the same length as this, I can just duplicate this a bunch of times. Command J will join your clips into one clip, and that works on audio too, not just MIDI. So now I just created a bunch of these data points. This, we're going to have that send out to, this is not necessarily anything you really need to know, but I'm sending it to everything. So the trig is going into this group, which has a chain that's sending out to the everything track, and the first MIDI input on that track is this, which will allow this to happen. You can kind of hear it swells up. Instead of like this, it like wah, wah, wah. And you can literally see it happening here. We can make it more aggressive too, like this. And that's kind of like one of the key things about EDM. So hopefully we just learned something. Oh yeah, we will need a keyboard shortcuts. Oh man, some of you guys are gonna have to point out to me what I'm missing. Hopefully, I've been trying to do my best. Command D is like the most useful one. Command C, Command V work as normal. So okay, so this is cool, right? This is fine. Let us let's make a quick beat. Let's forget the melodic shit right now. 0 turns things on and off in Ableton, like a lot of things. So if I have this track group selected, it will turn on and off the whole group. It'll turn on and off individual tracks. It'll turn on and off clips, so you can like mute a particular clip. So now that one will play, that one won't. Yeah, just kind of fun stuff. I'm gonna do something fun here real quick. I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to duplicate this little ×2. We'll make it twice the length. So now, because I didn't want it to be as dense, and I don't really need all of these, I'm just going to have them kind of do this. Because what we're going to basically create is like a little... I didn't even need these, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It's called a two-step beat. It's like what a lot of you will probably consider like the dubstep beat, which is like boom, ga, boom, ga. Command R to rename. Let's grab a new track. Command T is new track. You can do that over here too. Create, insert audio track. Command R to rename again. Snare. And let's just search snare. Let's see what we got. Ooh, gross. That's kind of fun. It's a little bit like oofy. Let's make it less oofy. So, okay, here, we're going to get into some mixing. EQ8 is the default EQ that comes with Ableton. It's fantastic. It's got 8 bands. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what we're going to do to it. But I'm bougie, and I bought a really expensive EQ called ProQ by FabFilter, and I like it because you can have unlimited points. That's not the main reason why I like it, though. The main reason why I like it is because it has something called dynamic EQ, which is really nice because it means that your EQ jobs don't have to be so static. They can, I mean, dynamic is literally the word. It's the opposite, whatever. Okay, it's easier to show than it is to not. So if I pull up this, right, I will be boosting this area of the signal. So it's like more mid-rangey, less mid-rangey. And that snare, that's what we're listening to, is just the snare. Let's solo that. But what if we wanted it to go like loud for the beginning of the snare and then go down immediately? Like, I just did that with my mouse and it didn't do a very good job because it's hard to move fast. But dynamic EQ will allow you to do that by grabbing this little ring on the outside. You can grab Now we have a little bit more of that mid-rangey, like, wah. I mean, that's not exactly what I wanted. I actually kind of want to change this shape to a high shelf. And we want the whole, basically everything that's not, sorry, I'm just checking texts to make sure I'm not missing anything. Everything that's not the low end to be boosted. And then I'm cutting out a little bit of the high end because it got a little too weird sounding. And then I want more of this, like, sharp range. Oh, yeah, this is a really cool feature, too. If you click on this little headphones, you only hear... My face is covering that part of the effects panel. No! Oh, you can't see the ProQ window. I bet you that's because I've set it up so that it only is grabbing... it's not grabbing the screen, it's just grabbing the window. Well, that was probably confusing when I was talking about the ducking as well. Well, let's just screw the ProQ and we'll stick with Ableton stuff. We can do Ableton. I've done only Ableton stuff before. I want this snare to be snappier, so let's grab more high end. And it's a little too much high end. Like around 10K. So then, boom, now we're getting this kind of snappier snare. And then we're actually using this low cut to cut out some of this kind of rumbly information. If you use this little headphones guy, it kind of does the same thing. You can probably not hear that because there's not a lot of that information. But, yeah, we're just cleaning it up. Make Ableton a bit smaller momentarily. Wait, can you guys see the EQ8 window though? Hopefully you can see the EQ8 window. I wonder if there's like a way I can set up like, well, doesn't really matter. It's fine. Okay, all right. Let's make an actual beat now. S solos things, by the way, and M turns on and off the MIDI keyboard, which allows you to use your... So like if M's on, S will actually play a keyboard, and if M is off, then S will solo things and not. But yeah. Let's turn this back off, 0. And then boom, boom, gah. Let's do that. That's not exactly what I wanted. Maybe like... Nope. Boom, boom, maybe there. Interesting. Not exactly what I wanted either. Boom, see, cat, see, boom, boom, see, cat, see. Okay, so right there. Boom, boom, see, cat, see. Perfect, cool. Let's add some of those titses that I'm hearing. Hats. All right, so here is where the EQ is perfectly at face cam cutoff. Shout out headphones guy. Oh, yeah. Professor, this is awesome. Okay, yes, the EQ is perfectly at face cam cutoff. Okay, so as long as you can see... Yeah, okay, we need some tzitzes. Okay, perfect. Whew. This is kind of nerve-wracking, not going to lie. Let's duplicate this snare over and over again so that the snare happens on every bar. And that kick is so weak and lame. It's just kind of fizzly. Let's get a better kick. Oh, yeah, these are just... I kind of like that one. Yeah, let's make some fucking disgusting shit. I hope I can curse. Sorry, A&E. What about that? Okay, I've really got to stop this. I gotta just... Where's my, like... I gotta go to my, like, go-tos, because I'm wasting too much time here. Cymatics. Phase 1, maybe? feel like there's a different kick that I use. Oop, not there. Whatever. I'm gonna stick with this first one that I had. Oh my god. Let's just make it kind of more aggressive. Let's 100 gex it if we will. Let's grab a saturator, and I'm just gonna use all Ableton stuff if I can, so that it stays in the window. We're gonna do warm or medium curve, and we're gonna really kind of drive it, and then we're gonna just bring the dry wet down, and we're gonna get this kind of like burfy thing that's going on there. And then I'm going to add something called Impact, which is a Max for Live device, so it should still show up. Max for Live is basically third-party programs, but any tips for choosing a specific sound out of so many? It can feel overwhelming. Yes! Oh, and you're not wasting my time. This is fascinating. Is there a way to make drums MIDI notes so you don't have to replace every single one? Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. So lots of great questions. Thank you for asking these. I hope that I'm not taking too long to answer these. Tips for going through sounds. Yes, but it costs money. There's this amazing program called EXO, and EXO arranges your samples by sound in a cloud by using AI. And it's amazing because you can just scroll through, and you get to hear like similar, like you can kind of basically drag your mouse through. Andrew Huang has a great video about it. Just search EXO by XLN Audio. Those X, the letter X, and then O by XLN Audio. If you want to look into that, it's an amazing productivity hack for this kind of stuff. And this is probably something where I spend the most time wasted. So I'm excited to like eventually just pony up the money and get it because it's like super helpful for your workflow. But yeah, most of the time, the best solution is what I just did, which is like pick something and just make it how you want, and then you can go back and change it later. Like, you're honestly wasting time if you're just going too hard. Oh, fuck yeah. ASUW, you're killing it. Grabbing that product. 100 gexing a verb. Yep, it's a thing. And then, is there a way to make drums MIDI notes? Absolutely. A lot of people use drum racks in Ableton. I used to. And then I stopped, and I don't really know why. You can grab clips from the browser or from your session. If I grab that M key, by the way, or like, click on this little thing that's going on up here. So I want that on, and then you'll notice that when I play keys now, they play in this little thing. A and W are now playing these two notes, and let's set that up to 0 and that up to 0. And now you can just. They all can be in the same MIDI clip too. Boom, ka, boom, boom, ka. Oh, shit. That's twice the length that I wanted it to, or half the length I wanted it to be. So let's just double it out. Let's turn off loop. Drag that out. Select all, and then double. Boom, boom, ka. Cool, great. I don't know why I don't like doing that. I think it's mainly just because I like to be able to do stuff like this. Turn on like warp mode and like destroy it. Like, that's not a very good example. Let's make it really destroyed. And then like reverse it. Like, maybe get rid of this second kick, and let's grab this one and pull it up here. And now we'll probably have a more interesting beat. Cool. Back into Impact. Let's. I want to make the high, if you guys don't know what Impact is, it's a transient designer, and what a transient is basically like a drum is a transient, or this is gonna be loud. I hope it doesn't hurt you guys. A clap is more transient than my voice. My voice has sustain on it. So like when I start making noise, it's just like it's not making noise, and then it starts making noise, and then it takes, and it's like a square, like bop. Whereas a transient's like bow, like it's a big spike, and then it goes down really quick. And so what we're doing is we're looking for those transients, or the computer is. I'm not doing anything, and I'm taking the high information, so anything that's in this like high register, and I'm gonna make it a lot louder, just for a second. I'm gonna make that through, just to kind of be like. Just kind of a little sharper. Now, that kick just comes through a little more. And we're clipping a bunch. Don't worry about it. God loves clips. I promised tzitzis a long time ago. Hats. I don't know. Some people are probably going to get mad at me here. Or not mad at me, but just be like, well, I used to like make all my hat patterns by like, taking a, oh my God, like this. I used to, just grab a hi-hat and, like, which is like fine, but, and actually I might keep that. That sounds pretty good. But I really started realizing that there's a bunch of these like pre-recorded hat loops, which when you take them and you drop them into your own project and you like mess with them, you fuck with them. Like for example, this one, let's drag it out to like not a good, like this is not like, it will not be in time anymore. And it sounds really bad. But if you select all, Command-Shift-U will bring up your quantize menu. Let's lock it to the nearest 16th note at 88%. And see that? Now we've got a more interesting rhythm than we would have ever come up with on ourselves. Let's take this to beats mode. Beats mode, so these are different complex modes of warping the clip. If you have them unwarped, it will just act as normal. Like this is like it's 140 BPM, so it'll play back at 140 BPM, and it won't stretch or anything. It'll just be there. If we have warp mode on, you can like stretch it, which is like what we just did, and all sorts of fun stuff. Quantize what we just did. These are different modes. You can hear that they have different ways of sounding. Versus complex, complex pro versus complex, versus repitch, versus texture, versus tones, versus beats. And I'm going to check the chat. No one said anything. Great. Hopefully we're all still here and enjoying it. I'm going to use this transient mode, which just means it's going to read those transients. Like I said, this is perfect. I don't know why I didn't use this. This is a transient, guys. This is less of a transient. I mean, it still has a transient. That is the transient, but it's less of a transient material because it's like not as big of a change. Anyway, this little control says like how far after the transient you should play. So you play 100% of it, you're going to play from here to here. If you do 50%, it's going to play from here and then ramp down and then stop playing here. So I want to make it really tight. And by tight, I just mean like not play as many of these things. And now let's listen to it. Cool. As opposed to, which is just not as cool. So now we have this beat that is kind of like syncopated. Oh, that's fucking rad. I love that. Okay, cool. So let's do that. I just duplicated those over again. Command D. Let's copy these hats over. This kick is so bad. I'm really upset about it. Ugh. Fuck yeah. Like the last thing I try. No saturation on this boy. And probably not any impact either. It's like a pretty well-processed sample already. Don't process well-processed samples. That took me so long to learn. Cool. All right, now we probably won't need to change anything anymore. Cool. Okay, cool. This is sounding cool. All right. It's time to add like something else because you guys are like, what the fuck? Why? Where is the actual sound design instead of just like we could use wavetable, but yeah, we're gonna use wavetable because I don't know. I was gonna say serum, but I think I can do it. Hasn't failed me yet. I don't think. Let's listen to what it sounds like. This is kind of a fun trick, by the way. So if you have M selected, right, and then this is the record arm is on, and you're playing those notes. Oh, this is groups off. I gotta turn the group on in order for sound to happen. Now you can hear what I'm playing on the keyboard. I'm just playing like A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K. This sounds terrible. Let's not use harmonics. What about filter? That sounds cool. Let's grab a... yeah, we'll just use an envelope. I don't need to be that fancy. Envelopes are cool. They're sometimes called ASDRs, which basically just means attack, decay, sustain, release. Attack, how long it takes to get to full volume. Decay, how long it takes to get to your sustain point. Sustain, where your sustain point is in terms of volume. And release, how long after you let go of the note does the note ring. If you change this in the amp, like for example, have a long decay or a release, I am not touching the note anymore, and it's just fading out. So I usually keep my amp super tight, which is just like it starts and then it stops, kind of what I was talking about with like that shit anymore, or like the thing that I was talking about. And now I'm going to use the matrix module to map this to the envelope 2. Now we have this kind of weird thing going on. I'm going to just, so one thing that's kind of cool, this is what I was going to say. I have these keys, I'm pressing S, H, and U right now. I'm just going to press spacebar to play, and I'm going to just fucking jam on these keys real quick. Doesn't have to be good. If you press this little button, it needs capture, and it will just grab what I just did, which is fucking awesome. I'm going to just sit and stare at the chat until you guys post about how awesome that is, because that's fucking awesome. It remembered time. It just said, whoa, you just did that. I'm going to store it in memory because it's like not very much, data. Fucking great. Hyped on it. Anyway, I'm going to stop looking at the chat. It seems that there's no questions right now, so that's cool. I'm going to go in here, Command A to capture all, Command Shift U to do my little like thing. Let's, 16th note's probably fine. Let's go back to 80%. Because we want to have a little human, right? Okay. And then we want to start on 1, 2. Ooh, that sounds fucking cool. I'm liking this. Duplicate that track. Let's rename things just to stay a little consistent. We'll call this little spiky. And then we'll call this spiky bass. Nuts. Incredible. This is amazing. Awesome. Doctor Strange is shaking. I don't know what any of that means, but I'm glad you guys are here for it. Okay, we got that D now. And then this one probably also needs another. Let's grab some. We want to make this a little bit stereo. And then we want this to be pretty aggressive. Let's just grab a saturator. And then we're going to also map the frequency of this filter to envelope 3. And we're going to have it go. Why aren't we hearing what I'm thinking I'm supposed to be hearing? I'm confused. I should probably have just used Serum. Mod sources, envelope 3. There we go. Cool. My personal favorite plugin of all time. Wilson, why are you so cool? I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Thanks for joining, Jules. Appreciate you. I'm going to use OTT to make this sound better. OTT is great. It stands for over the top. It's just basically a super aggressive multiband compressor. We're going to use it to kind of I don't think I like that. I don't think I like that saturator. Yeah, that's better. You guys hear that? Ooh. Yeah, that's nice and thick. We're gonna use a glue compressor to kind of cut off the tops, and what I mean by that is we want it to clip so that it's not grabbing so much. Question from earlier: how do you capture? Can you show it again? Okay, so let's see. I have my M on, and then I've got my record arm on, and then I'm tapping the D key. And then I just press this little box right there that's up by the new button, and that will create what I just did, which is really fun. Alternatively, you can just hit the record button, and then if you're record armed, it will record. But for some reason, as soon as the record is on, I can never play it correctly, so I like to just jam and then capture it later. That sounded cool. Let's copy this information up to here. We're just Command-C, Command-V on that OTT and that glue compressor. That OTT is a little too aggressive here, so let's dial that back a bit. And then we're going to grab a, is this one? This one's not, well, that's mono. Perfect. Okay, we'll grab a dimension expander. And a dimension expander basically is going to just create some side information. So we're going to add that. Cool. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's copy that and duplicate that. And then we're going to go, let's pause these for a second, and we're going to go into here and go. And then. Perfect. And now, let's kind of mimic that same thing. So this is going to go A, G. And then let's kind of fit the chords to match. So let's grab this D. It would be really cool to let's drop that one. Ooh, that's cool. Maybe do. Perfect. Now we got our loop. Okay, cool. So this is like our first bit, right? And I'm just selecting those and Command D to create them. Cool. That sounded kind of cool. Do I have any advice on creating an interesting chord progression? No, I really don't, to be honest. I guess my best advice is if you have an instrument available to you, any sort of physical, 1564 only goes so far. You're so right. It's kind of one of those things, right, where you realize that there are 12 semitones in an octave, in a Western scale. That's so little. That's just really not that many. But for a 4-bar phrase, there are 16 times 4. Someone help me with that. Is that 64? 32, 64. That's 64 16th notes. So you have so much more temporal, rhythmic potential for diversity, or potential for rhythmic diversity, than you do potential for chordal diversity, especially if you're going to stay in a diatonic zone. Diatonic simply just meaning like do, re, mi, fa, la, si, ti, do, or like minor, like da, 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 da. Because there are like, fun little like da, 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 like called non-diatonic, chord structures. But I'm not very good at them. I'm very diatonic. This is about the most diatonic I get, or non-diatonic I get. This is in key, and then this is not, because it's here. it's minor, and then major, which like it's shouldn't be technically by the diatonic key. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am with that. It's kind of like if you have an instrument, the thing that feels best is like just like easiest feeling is probably going to be the best, but focus more on your rhythmic diversity if you want to make something more interesting. I think it's time that we, at this point, just because, I don't know, it's whatever, like, let's try it. We're going to try and add voice, I guess. I'm hoping this doesn't break the whole stream. I'm going to just add the Scarlet as a device, and I'm seeing one. Okay, ya la 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 la. Let's just kind of like, I'm going to just record a vocal and see what happens. I'm pretty dysphoric about my voice lately, but it is useful to kind of get ideas out. So let's just quickly completely annihilate this with effects. You guys are never going to hear the way that it actually sounded coming out. I'm just going to drop a waves tune on it so that it sounds good and normal. And I believe we were in D minor. Did anyone check? Reference tone. Yep, D minor. So D minor. Nope. Honestly, I'm just going to re-record this and because left and right. So, okay, so there's a really interesting phenomenon that happens. Okay, that was beautiful. I'm crying right now, but like happy crying. Oh, vocal plugins. Yeah, you probably can't see what I'm working on. Sorry, some of these plugins probably aren't showing. Waves Tune is just a really quickly, quick and dirty, like auto-tune plugin. Auto-tune meaning that it literally just grabs the key and it doesn't let you go outside of it. Melodyne is something that's more like sequential, like you write in, not sequential, I guess I would say post-production, like you can go back in and change individual notes instead of like just creating a, it's kind of like a, Waves Tune, you can think of it, Waves Tune as like a pitch stencil, whereas like Melodyne is like a pitch editor, like you can go back in with an eraser and stuff. There you go, Waves Tune. So actually I should say ASUW A+E. Thank you so much. That's Waves Tune, which is more like Melodyne. Waves Tune Real Time is what I'm using. But how do I go about chaining effects? If you're using pitch correction, it has to go first. And the reason is that all plugins have a sound. All plugins have like a way that they are processing the signal. And if those artifacts are louder than what you have in your original sound, then you're going to start pitch correcting those artifacts, and that's going to cause all sorts of weird things. Pitch correction already creates a bunch of artifacts, so avoiding extra artifacting at any cost is really important. So I usually do like some sort of tuning, and then I jump right into a compressor, and I do that because it's kind of like in the real world, or like in a studio environment, you usually would have a processor going into your preamp. So it'd be like your mic goes into a compressor, goes into a preamp, goes into the audio interface, goes into your computer. And you do that so that you don't clip and you can have more dynamic range. But I don't have that luxury because of what I just said. I don't want to use the sounds of my... I don't want to hear the artifacts of those plugins, so I have to do the compression afterwards. There's a really lovely compressor in the FabFilter family called Pro C. And it sounds amazing. Let me put it on here. You probably won't be able to see what I'm doing, which is annoying, but whatever. It is what it is. We're going to remove that initial breath because it's super loud and gross. And actually, I'm going to just stretch this out and have it start. Nope, I'm not. Let's remove that breath. Did I answer all those questions? I feel like we cannot comment on this bartering opportunity. This is kind of cool. You guys hear that? Let's sample that because it's a fun little sample. You can set this to resampling, hit the record button, and then anything that comes out of your speakers, or I guess that's coming out of the master chain, will get recorded to here. So I'm just going to press 1. I've set 1 up to be record. If we do Command K, you can click anything in here and then just select a key and it will automatically map it to it. I set the record on the global record to 1, which means that I can just at any time press 1, it will start recording. That's just really handy. So I like this little sound that we got. And now we can delete it from here. And this has no processing on it. We'll just save it for later. Let's group these vocals. And I'm going to record this again. Let's just listen to it one more time so I can get it in my head. Let's just start simple. Let's just record that one little bit. Turn on the metronome. Okay, so we needed to do that last bit because I didn't know what I was doing. Do-wa-da-da-do-da. Alright, and now if we spin these left and right, they'll sound really cool. I'm going to delete the extra process. I'm going to process these together, right? So I've got this vocal group. So I'm doing anything that's like kind of more creative on the group, and then the more like utility things, just compression and a little bit of tuning, is just going to be on the track itself. Let's just call this vocal L and vocal R, and you can see here I've panned these left and right. This is left and right. Let's check the chat. Cannot believe I'm watching magic be created. I'm literally laughing in awe. This is so dope. Oh my god, you guys are so cool. So you can see I've got a lot of red going on here on this master channel. That's kind of not a good thing. So let's grab a limiter so that 1, we're not hurting our ears. 2, we're probably not, slamming the stream with over loud stuff. And 3, stuff can't be delivered unless it's limited. Anyway, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you should you guys should, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you should, mix at a really low level and produce at a really low level in your channels. It's kind of not super necessary because a lot of DAWs are 32-bit, and Ableton is no exception there. So like, for example, if I put a utility plugin and I just drop the gain like by 20 decibels, it's technically the same quality going through as this. It's just like, so it's really not important to set your levels over here. But this is something that we're gonna do right now. Let's call this vocal stack. Yeah, I guess I'll just stick with that. I want to make this 30, -30, and 30, so that it's a little less wide. And then we're going to grab this Raum, which is a reverb. It's a little over compressed. Let's. What happens if we just? These aren't loud enough yet. Am I going to slam them into limiters? I'm going to slam them into limiters. That bass is already slammed into a limiter. You hear that? That sounds... Okay, I'm not looking at the chat at all. I should look at this. It serves to... He said, wow, I know it's you. Okay. How's this coming together so fast? I don't think this is really coming together fast, but I appreciate your patience. I'm going to... there's a lot of, like, kind of chunky mid-end in this. I'm gonna... It's kind of bugging me. It looks like I already cut out a significant amount of mid, too. So let's grab an EQ 8. And kind of bust up some high end here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of echo just to kind of make it like kind of splatter all over the place. Let's do a ping pong, an eighth notes, and we'll make it pretty. Yeah. Someone throw out a I don't know. Well, nah, I was gonna like write lyrics right now, but that's probably more time than it's worth. What's this sound again? Let's listen to it. That's cool. Let's make it loud. Let's set it to tones mode. Cool. Let's make a bass out of that. So we're going to pretend that there's a build up here, and we're just going to go over here and grab this beat again. We're going to actually kind of mute the two hi-hat things for a second just to kind of get like an... So you hear that like boom that's happening? There's a little bit of like a tone there. Let's grab that. And then... Actually, let's just do it the other way. Let's grab that. And then that's a little... That's one. And then this one. What about this? And then that last... That's something else. I feel like... I gotta check the chat. Vox Go Crazy. Okay, we're still on Vox Go Crazy. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you. That's cool. And then this one. Okay, so it may not seem like I'm doing much right now, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take these fucking weird sounds. Oh, not mono, stereo always. Stereo always. I'm going to run through some presets in here. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. Let's make it more aggressive with an OTT. And a glue compressor to round it out, like I was talking about often. that's really loud. I should probably just turn up my volume. Cool. Those are just cool noises. I like them a lot. And that was really close to an actual tone, so let's drag that up. Yeah. And I think these might even just be an octave too low. Let's see what happens if we drop them up an octave. What happens if we drop those an octave? Doesn't. Ooh, that was cool. Let's try just dragging this one up an octave now. Cool. I'm gonna render this. Freeze. Okay, it says, it amazes me how you resample like crazy to create new sounds and then resample them again. It gets me every time. Legendary. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like the only way I know how to make noise. I don't really know why it is, but it is. So we just joined that into one track. Which is cool because now that, which is like close to a thing that we want, and this one is particularly is just like a little flat and low. Yeah. Cool. So now, let us get a. Let's grab that into spiky bass. This is a bass, so let's put it in there. And then I'm gonna actually kind of like separate this out. This is like the verse basses, V bass, and then this is like, I don't know, chorus bass. It's a drop bass, I guess. And let us. Everyone's been waiting for this. Let's grab Serum. Serum. Oh, except you guys might not be able to see what I'm doing in Serum. Can you see Serum when I have that open? Who else still here? Who's having fun? I hope people are here. It looks like there's still 11 viewers. That's cool. I don't know how long I can go. I thought I could only go for an hour, but I guess I'm still going. Okay, so we cannot see Serum. Let's not use Serum then. Wavetable. And we know that the note that we want is a D. That's a B. There. And this is kind of a fun trick I learned recently. Is to create a second. So I just grouped this, right? I created. Okay, let's undo that. Command G will group this into what's called an audio effect rack where there are chains. And I can add another chain. And I'm going to actually add an operator, which is a different kind of synth that Ableton makes. I'm going to grab some white noise. And let's solo that so that only that happens. Delicious. Disgusting. Full stereo. And how do you tackle turning ideas into full songs? I mean, I'm kind of doing it right now. It's like not happening. It's kind of hard. It doesn't really happen easily. Most of the time I just create these weird little loops, and then later I will be like, oh, yeah, that loop fit with that loop, and that drop is in the same key as this little idea that I had, or like, I don't know if you guys know Kashmir, KSHMR. They are a dope producer, and they talked about how human brains are stupid, and like we get weighed down by the like weight of stuff that we've already done. So if you are working on a project and you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I just can't make a build up, note your tempo and your key and create a new project and build your entire intro outside of your project or like your session, and try to connect them. And you will find yourself in a lot more inspirational zone. Like for here right now, I don't know if this will actually end up being something that will work for that, but we'll find out together, I suppose. I'm going to take this noise. Hopefully that was answered your question, Tanner. We can't see the plugin. I do see that. Oh, hi, Perry. Okay. Oop. Okay, so I want to make this chop, like go like ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the LFO, and we're going to make it into a triangle shape, and it will sound like this. Oop. That's not sounding how I want it to sound, so we're not going to do that. We're going to grab a shaper plugin, and we're going to draw a little shape once it loads. This is actually perfect. It's kind of what we want. And we're going to map that to the volume of that. And we're going to set the rate to hertz and high. Oh, whoa, you can only go up to 10 hertz. Okay, so I guess we will have to cheat the system here a little bit by creating more points. Hopefully this is still interesting. I appreciate you guys hanging out while I make noise on a computer. Boom. Almost there. Yup. Yeah. So now, yeah, you hear that little like. You know what? I'm fighting a losing battle here. I'm just gonna do Serum real quick. You guys aren't gonna see it. I'm sorry. It's just Serum does it better. I'm just gonna make that little noise thing that I was just showing you. Analog white. Oh, not that. Just this. And then LFO1. I'm sorry, you can't see this. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. LFO1 to the level. You guys can kind of hear what's happening at least. Okay, cool. So now you hear the little like thing. Cool. That little noise thing that is added for some reason adds this really delicious texture. I'm going to kind of make it more noticeable. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that original note here, right? Oh. So without, with. It's too loud, but you can kind of balance them, and then you get this really interesting, like, kind of sound. Let's go back into wavetable and let us grab an EQ, and we're going to cut out some of that disgusting mid-range. We're going to increase some of the lows. Cool. And honestly, we might not need that whole thing that I just set up because there's a lot of high end on the other guy. Let's distort the fuck out of it with a glue compressor. We're just gonna turn on the soft clip and increase the gain. And we're gonna cut out some of the low of this guy because it seems like the other one's got control. Or maybe we should do the other way around. Let's do that. Cool. Now we're just gonna add basically a really simple filter fades to this. Let's see what happens if we add that noise back in. Nah, it's too much. It's too much. Damn. I kind of like that square. That sounds cool. How do you guys feel about that? You're doing great, sweetie. Aw. Thanks, Carmen. Let's do that. Show automation. I don't think I've shown you guys how to do this yet, but we're basically just going to draw a little curve. It's going to go, wow. And it needs to come back up at the end, wow, wah. Bow, what? Bow, what? Bow. So let's take this, and then, and then we're going to drop that last point there. Hopefully, I don't know. I feel like I kind of stop explaining things. Do you guys need anything explained right now? And then I'm just going to go ga on this. So just add those points in there. We're just going to go. And then this one actually kind of feels the opposite. So let's move the... Move those that way. Okay, so now we've got this kind of like congruent thing that's happening. Let's remove basically a lot of the low mid area for this in the center channel. And I'm going to actually just use a Pro Q3 for that. I'm sorry, guys. That's just what I want to do. It's easier for me. Then we're going to add it back in the stereo image. Oh, this is mono. Oh, that's part of our problem. Okay, let's add some stereo effects to that. So let's grab a dimension expander and drop that in. Ooh, that's cool. Is the red line for volume or pitch? I don't know what you mean by red line. Oh, the red line is automation. So we can automate almost any parameter in Ableton. So, like, okay, so for example, if I grab, what's a really obvious one? Frequency shifter. Frequency shifter sounds really obvious. So if we go on here, oh, I put it on here. Whoops. Let's say we wanted to automate that. We can show automation by right-click, show automation, and then you can just, fun fact, if you press B, you'll get a little pencil tool, and that will write in steps. And if you hold Command, you can override those steps and just draw freely. And this is going to sound terrible. But you get the idea. So you can automate any parameter. That's pitch, or frequency rather, which is, closely related to pitch. But you can also do any parameter basically in live. So you could do echo, you could have echo. This one's actually kind of fun if you set this to time and you set this to sync, and then you automate one of these guys. Let's actually do this on the wonky one instead of the, because this is, so I should say, this is kind of like our sub. This is really just clean. I mean, it's still doing stuff, but we want it to be more or less clean. This one, like, this is supposed to be fucked up. Love that Yelp. R2D2 type beat. Yeah, I mean, you know. Let's take this little thing and let's just, like, fuck with it, see what happens. And then we want want the feedback to be basically none. Oh, this is really becoming interesting now. Ooh, that like at the end is really cool. We're gonna take this dry wet and we're gonna show automation so that it cuts off right here though, so that it doesn't tail out after that. I didn't cut that off cleanly. Let's clean that. Clean cut. And now we're just gonna duplicate this. Whew. And let's actually take those dry wets and we'll cut them in all of these sections. Let's Command D to duplicate across. Whoop, duplicate. That one's fine. We're going to just now duplicate that again. Cool. This is kind of sounding fun and like weird and like, I don't know, industrial and like aggressive. You guys have any ideas? You guys have anything you want me to do? Any like fun stuff? It's this 13 of you still, it looks like, which is cool. I can't believe that people are still watching this. I'm really appreciative of you guys. As always, feel free to hit me up for any questions. I give free Ableton lessons to queer people, femme people, people of color, and normal lessons, sliding scale for folks, any folks who want to learn. I want to make this get to. So let's kind of annoy the fuck out of myself and delete all of this. And we're going to grab a different hat sample that we're going to put in a different track. We'll call this low hat. Call this high hat. Haha, isn't that funny? Hat loop. And then let's grab another hat, like a more aggressive sounding hat. I'm literally crying. This slaps. Bruh, how? I kind of like the first, like, of that. So let's, ooh, what's this? Oh, that's a snare. We don't want that. So we're going to turn off warp. So that's just as it is. We're going to take that and we're going to make this higher because it needs another, maybe it, honestly, this would be hilarious. I wonder what happens if we do this. Oh my god. F me. We're just gonna S in the chat, homies. Just gonna duplicate that out again, because it sounds better if it's duplicated up. Duplicate. Oh, oops. Never turn this off. Let's see, like, the OG sample. Is this like changing velocity? Charlie says. Kind of. What I explained this to Eriku a little earlier in the stream. The reason why I use audio is because of wait, why am I a comedian, Carmen? I don't think I'm funny like at all. The reason I do audio is so I can do like fun, weird stuff every once in a while. This is usually kind of comes later after I've kind of created an idea. But like, for example, like we're in here, we're jamming. And then I want this to kind of go like, so like I'm going to do this, which you can totally do that in like a MIDI editor. But I want to do something even weirder. I want to kind of grab this and like reverse it. Now we've just got kind of a more interesting thing happening every once in a while. And then this one's got to do something different now. Like, what happens if we just warp that, and then let's drag it out, drag this back, warp that out. Command J will consolidate your clip and reformat it, which is kind of cool. Let's use texture now. Actually, I'm going to undo all that because I didn't. So this is on complex. We want to take this to texture mode. That's cool. And then join that, and then pull this back out again. And again in texture mode. That's cool. And then reverse that. Yeah. And let's just like blast it in volume. Not that loud, probably. And this part's too loud, so we'll drop that back down to normal volume. Anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Charlie, about why I use not MIDI. Oh my god, it's really hot in my room. Is there anything you guys want to see? I'm kind of feeling. My plan was I'm gonna just now go from this. This is gonna be less busy, right? Because it's the drop. I'm thinking kind of honestly, like what would happen if we just went. So like, yeah. No, not you. Like two more. Yeah, this will be kind of cool. Let's try this. I've never done this kind of thing before. This is the fun of production right here. Is just like doing something dumb and hoping it works. This is all art is. Do dumb things. Hopefully it's beautiful. I'm realizing now that the hats are too loud. And the reason this is because in the final mixdown, you want your drums, your kick and your snare to be the loudest thing in your mix. We might be able to turn these up, particularly in this section. So instead of turning them up with the volume slider, I'm just going to add an extra 4 decibels of gain in the clip level. That's kind of cool. To be honest, I've never really listened to electronic music that sounds like this, but it's really getting me into it. Stanky. So I'm realizing that it's cool, but it's really not quite aggressive yet enough. We need more noise and frustration and sadness. So I have this thing called the fat rack. It's called WFAT, and you just kind of add it to things and it gets fat. It's a whole bunch of effects Oh, no. My fat rack doesn't work right now because of... okay, hold on. In plugins, I'm turning on my audio units. I don't have my audio units on by default usually because I found out recently that they make my hard drive kind of crash, or not hard drive, computer kind of crash a little bit. I think that's more a fault of my computer than of Ableton, but it is what it is. That's kind of fun. Let's listen to that. It's still missing something. What's it missing? It's missing it's an EQ thing. So I'm pulling up Span. Span is a spectrum analyzer. Oop, let's not use the AU version because of the exact thing I was just telling you guys about. VSTs. Okay, so you can even see it, right? We got a lot of information from 10 to 20K, which is cool. That's like a nice little bright section. +1 aggression. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah. But there's not a whole lot going on from 10 to 2 and kind of down even to 1. And then there's too much happening at 200. So this is perfect. What we'll do is we'll just grab a EQ 8 and we're going to go 200. See ya. Drop it down. And then what did I say? From 1K to 10K, it needs to be boosted, and then a little bit dropped. And then let's put the span on the other side of it and see how that affected it. It's close. It's closer for sure. Let's go back into this 5. See what happens if we kind of make that a little more aggressive. Let's actually turn this 7 into a high cut, and we'll just cut everything above 14. That's sounding dank, right? That's lame. And now it's cool. And I'm thinking we need another hat in there that's an open hat. Let's search open hat. Honestly, fuck it. This is what I was saying. You can't be too married to your samples. Fuck it. Yeah, let's stick with it. I don't love that. So let's cut out the parts of it I don't love, which is everything in below the... Okay, I used the wrong EQ. Let's grab EQ 8 again. And we're going to grab a reverb. Just kind of make it... I don't like this reverb. Let's use Raum. I'm sorry you guys can't see Raum. Raum's beautiful. It's got good design. Perry, if you're still here, I'm sure you'd love it. Too long. No modulation. More dampening. A little more high cut. Cool. Honestly, the reverb kind of ruins it for me. Let's see what happens. What happens if I I don't know. Grain delay. Sure. Let's make it really gross. That sounded cool. I like that. I want this to be mildly melodic, semblant of melodicism. So I'm going to add another kind of V-bass element, really. even though it's happening in the drop, I want it to kind of be like wavetable. So we're going to grab wavetable, and I'm just going to grab a random shape. That's good. That's perfect. So now we need that. So let's just grab a quick little MIDI clip. Command-Shift-M makes a MIDI clip. And then it's on those off beats, right? And then we're just going to distort the living fuck out of this with a saturator. We're going to put it to hard curve mode, all the way maxed up. That sounds pretty good. Let's OTT it. And then we need to glue it to bring it up to speed. I don't think that's the right sound yet. I don't think it's distorted enough either. So let's try again. I'm wondering almost if like I don't really know. I don't really know what to do with this one. We're kind of just like playing it by ear. This is experimentation, right? I almost feel like this is not a move for the first bit. Why is there like a little thing that's happening there? Where is my echo? Do you cut out there? Ooh. Oh, it's that kick drum that from forever ago. That's not a good sound. It's just not a good sound. That's kind of fun though. I like that. What happens if we throw that on noise mode for the unison? That's perfect. Oh, this is sick. Okay, let's make those higher notes higher. And then, ooh, now is when it gets really fun. We're going to do that same pattern as before. So it's going to go da, 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 da. I'm not looking at the chat. Is anyone saying anything? Jacques, you've unmasked yourself. Oh, okay, cool. We need to make these go down in pitch. And then this one goes up 2 of those. And then these ones are going to be, whoop, and then these ones, C's. Okay, should be. And then we can take these guys Mm. I almost want to. We don't want those like are still kind of annoying. Let's remove those. You guys, this is sick. I'm really into this. Thanks for helping me write my next song. I'm done. Fuck. I'm gonna save this project so I don't lose it. Hold on one sec. What are you guys gonna help me with a name? The first thing that someone throws out, I'll name this track this. And then while people are coming up with a name, closing questions, y'all. What do you guys want to know from me? I am done, basically. Let me know if there's anything you want to know. Thanks for watching. Oh my god, I can't believe you guys stayed the whole hour and 30 minutes. I'm sweaty. So, rigor. Ooh, I like that. Rigor. Saved. What are the most important parts of Ableton to get good with when you are learning? Oof. Well, so once again, I would highly recommend checking out that resources link that I sent out. Inspir Asper has an amazing step-by-step, like how to just go from doing nothing to making something, and so does learningmusic.ableton.com. Those resources will get you comfortable with the concept of putting elements together, which is the most important thing. Ultimately, it's like really important to like be able to feel comfortable stringing together multiple elements, and at the end of the day, if you can just take like a beatbox and like a guitar and put them together, you just used Ableton in a way that is like it's built for, is to just create and compose music. What leads you to experiment so much, and how do you deal with that initial fear that most artists face, especially when introducing your voice in tracks? My voice is an interesting thing. My voice is mainly a problem for me because of my gender dysphoria. When I sing, people immediately code me as male, and that is infuriating because it's just not. That's not how I want to be representing myself. And so to have something that is so uniquely part of me kind of betray the way that I feel is never really a fun experience. But with experimentation, the true fact of the matter is that you will always make something that is cooler or weirder than anyone's ever heard, or so annoying and out there that no one wants to pay attention to it. And then there's everywhere in between, right? You can also make something that's boring and people aren't particularly interested in hearing it. And that's problematic too. So it's like really this balance. I have a lot of songs that I wrote for, when I write songs for me, I'm mostly writing to just do something weird, make weird noises, and like try to make something that's just like, my goal with music, in particular electronic music, is to just like shake my body with weird, like, I don't know. I want that ASMR-y feeling, but like not quiet, like loud, like a powerful ASMR. And if you find the thing that you like in music, like I really look up to, IU is a great example. Like, they don't make the kind of music that I make at all. But like something that it seems that they pay a lot of attention to is like groove and feel and like how it's like moving. And that's more from like a songwriting standpoint and less from like a sonic standpoint. And that's something that I could definitely use some work on. So it's just find the thing really that you want to like chase after and chase after it. For me, it's always kind of been sound and sound design. If for you, it's like beautiful melodies, then spend more time than just like whatever the first shit that comes out of your brain is on a vocal melody. It's really up to you. I don't know. I know it's like not very helpful advice, but like kind of the reality of the situation is like, I can help you use the tools. You gotta make the creativity, you know? And, if it starts by not being creative and just taking other people's work and, you know, copying it or something like that, that's totally viable. It's an amazing, like, whatever you need to do to chase the happiness that comes with making music with computer software, I want you to do it. Yeah, find me on those social things. Do I have anything upcoming you should be aware about? Yeah, I'm playing a live show, a live stream, Twitch stream on May 10th, I want to say. I'll post about it on my socials. It's not going to be actually truly live because of bandwidth issues like we were experiencing today. So we're doing pre-recorded sets, and then we will be in the chats, you know, interacting as things happen, which is going to be really fun because it means that I can kind of focus on cultivating a really good performance, taking that really good take, and then just like interacting with you guys as you see the performance. It's kind of be like a premiere of a performance that will never be around again. So it's going to be it's a weird world that we're living in right now, but I'm really excited about that. Am I going to be doing more streams potentially in terms of like building tracks? I really would like to. I didn't know that YouTube streaming was available to me. I was really only doing Twitch. And the reason why I didn't really like doing Twitch is because I'm not particularly connected to like that, I don't know, scene. Like I don't really game. And I know that it's expanded a lot and there's a lot of music stuff on there too, but like this feels kind of like one more platform I'll have to learn. And I don't feel particularly comfortable on it. So YouTube makes it a lot more accessible for me to stream while I'm producing. One other thing, though, to consider is that it does have a particularly taxing kind of situation on my CPU, especially if I was not using all Ableton plugins. If I started using some of my little more CPU-hungry, delicious-sounding plugins, might cause some problems. But, yeah, I will definitely like look into doing this. I think it might be something that would be really fun to do for lo-fi because I make lo-fi tracks in like one day and then upload them. And they are not particularly CPU intensive because it's really just about like finding that vibe and then moving forward with it. This has been really odd, but absolutely fantastic. Thank you everyone for showing up. If you're still here, like, wow, I'm so grateful. I would really love it if we could all just like put a little like heart in the chat. If you do the little like caret 3, let's all just do it. I want to see a bunch of hearts. And then I will let you guys all go back to your days. Thank you for coming. Yes, we can absolutely hear the song. I'll play it right now. Yo, this is actually tight. I'm so hyped right now. I did not expect to make something interesting. Fuck yeah. This is tight. I don't even want to go. I feel so connected to the universe right now. I didn't sleep at all last night, so I'm going to try and go sleep. Bye, y'all. Love. Oh, fuck. There we go.